Hello and welcome to Guild Wars Players News, the podcast where we take a look at Guild Wars game series news and talk about content on our site, Guild Wars Players. I'm Sithith, and today we have Draculetta.
Hey, everybody.
And Thelros.
Yes.
Yes. So they're here. I'm here. Lunar New Year is also here for Guild Wars 2. I posted last week, and I talked about it last week on the podcast. Canthan New Year was a thing in Guild Wars. Was it last week or was it the week before? I don't remember. But anyway, Lunar New Year is now. Yeah, easy for you to say. Lunar New Year is now in Guild Wars 2, and you can get some pretty cool stuff with it. A lot of it's in the store, so I'll let Drac talk about that when he does sales. But the Dragon Ball kind of activity PvP event thing is also in. I don't know if you guys have tried it. I've done it a little bit just to get dailies, and it's not bad. It's not super fun, but it's okay. Have you guys tried it?
I have not done it at all yet. I need to hop in and check it out.
I pretty much don't do dailies anymore, and that's really the only motivation I would have to do it. So,
fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty easy because you just run around to a couple places and light some fireworks, do like 2 rounds of Dragon Ball, and then open all of the little envelopes, and that's it. It's pretty easy. I haven't gotten anything like super great from the rewards. I've gotten some consumable food stuff and some luck, which is nice. But yeah, I mean, it's not bad. There's new outfits and stuff in the store, and I'm sure Drac will cover it. But first, this week we've had a couple points of interest episodes, which if you don't know, the official Guild Wars 2 Twitch channel every other week usually does a kind of serial streaming thing they do called Points of Interest. Ruby, the community manager, talks to various developers and stuff for the game, and we've had 2 this week because they're showing off some gameplay for Heart of Thorns, yes, Heart of Thorns already, and so that's pretty cool. I put some videos up on Guild Wars Players of these streams that they've done. The first one, they show off some of the kind of the new adventures that they're going to be having in Heart of Maguma, the new region that we're going to get, and it seems pretty cool. Like the one that they showed off, like you get this flamethrower, and the challenge is like how many vines can you burn down with flamethrower, and also because of like a glitch that happened, they accidentally showed off what the Revenant profession icon looks like. Some people got really excited about that. I was just like, oh, okay, cool. And then the other points of interest episode that they had this week showed off some masteries footage, specifically how hang gliders work, which is pretty cool. So basically you run off a cliff and then you hang glide. So if you want to check those videos out and see for yourself what this Heart of Maguma region looks like, it looks pretty cool. Like the landscape looks pretty cool. I didn't want to watch a whole lot of it though because I don't want to spoil myself. I know for other games I've spent a lot of time being a beta and alpha tester. And that's really fun sometimes, but sometimes you just want to experience the game as it is meant to be once it's done, you know? And I know you guys have felt the same way.
Yeah, I was going to say, I haven't actually watched these yet because I'm kind of deciding if I want to. I'm not sure how spoilery they get. So right. I might watch them until I think it's getting too spoiler, and then I'll stop, but I know in the past I've watched the Point of Interest, and I've really liked watching them. They do a really good job,
they're great.
And the devs that are on there usually tell some good stories and stuff, why, what their thought process was behind why they did something the way they did it in games. So you learn a lot, but you also might get spoiled too, so we'll see.
Yeah, that's the thing. I spent a long time not doing Points of Interest because I wasn't caught up on the living story, and so I didn't want to get spoiled because they do talk about how things are currently, like as of most recent update. So if you are still looking to avoid spoilers, Points of Interest is probably not for you just yet. But I definitely recommend getting around to watching it. They have it on their Twitch channel, but they also put it up on the official Guild Wars 2 YouTube channel later as a permanent video to watch. So, Drek, about those sales and outfits and pretty things.
Yes, as you said, a lot of this ties into the New Year celebration that's going on. The Crimson Lion weapons are now available, and those cost you just 1 Black Lion claim ticket each.
And they're pretty cool looking. And I also want to say, apparently, the Red Lion Warhorn skin also changes the sound that your Warhorn makes. if you use that weapon skin.
I
It roars.
did not know. Is that? Oh, really?
Yes,
Well, that'd be
it
kinda
makes
cool
a line.
then.
So that's something to think about.
And I saw somebody in game yesterday that had the bow skin, and I really liked it. So
Mhm.
I might be tempted
It's
to
pretty
get
cool.
one of the bow skins, yeah, because it looked pretty sweet. And also,
I'm thinking about getting one as
that
well.
everybody on Twitter and on Reddit has been raving and jumping up and down about is the Imperial outfit.
Mm-hmm.
And I was going to ask your opinion on it if you were with everybody else that was just super excited about this.
Okay, here's the thing about this outfit. The female version is very nice, and I enjoy it. The male version, I think, is ugly. And while I think the female version is pretty, it doesn't match the aesthetic of any of my characters, so I have not bought it, and probably won't. But it is very nice.
That actually surprises me. I figured you would be all over this.
Nope, it just does not match the aesthetic of any of my plant people.
Not enough plants.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, I'm at a weird stage with Guild Wars 2 where I have more male characters than female characters, which isn't something I've ever done in a game where you pick genders. So, yeah, dresses aren't as appealing in this game for me, since...
Can't imagine why.
Yeah.
Also in the store, you can get the red envelope mail carrier. All the mail you send will be encased in a red envelope that will burst into a shower of fireworks.
It's pretty cool.
When it is open. That is pretty cool. And also for the, let me make sure I tell you the right date. The next 2 weeks, any Black Lion chest that you open with a Black Lion chest key will also include a personalized homemade lucky envelope as a little bonus with whatever else is in the Black Lion chest. So if you've been hoarding those Black Lion chest keys, now's the time to open those chests.
Sounds like it. So, Drac, in terms of our site, I know that you have recently started kind of a new series of posts about the music in Guild Wars 2 and Guild Wars. Or is it both, or is it just Guild Wars 2?
Right now it's Guild Wars. It's going to be both, though.
Okay.
What I plan on doing is I'm going to start with the original Guild Wars series, and I'm going to highlight a few tracks from each of the game expansions. And then I will eventually get to Guild Wars 2, and 2 is going to take forever because that soundtrack has a lot of songs on it.
It does.
But it's probably I don't know, maybe the listeners might not know this, but I know I've talked to you guys about it. I really, really like the Guild Wars soundtrack. A lot of the times during the day when I'm working, I always have music going, and sometimes I just put game soundtracks on. And
Makes sense.
one of my favorite ones to play is the Guild Wars soundtrack because it is just so eclectic. There is many different styles of music on it. So the first one I decided to start the series off with is entitled Over the Shiver Peaks. It's from Guild Wars Prophecies, which of course is the very first Guild Wars game. I think the reason why this is my favorite song off the Prophecy soundtrack is the use of the violin.
Ooh.
And it kind of starts out kind of somber and slow. And then there's like a crescendo that builds up and then it like picks up. So you can head over and take a listen to that song and see what you think about it. And next week I will have another song from the Prophecy soundtrack.
Sounds awesome.
I didn't know they kind of, I guess he maybe remixed for Guild Wars 2 because you can hear this in game. I've heard it a few times.
Yeah, there's quite a few of the original soundtrack songs that they did kind of redo for the game.
I think they borrowed a lot of the same musical themes as well for some areas.
This is the first one that I actually heard in Guild Wars 2, and I had to stop because I'm like, okay, I know that. Why do I know this music? And then I listened to it, and I'm like, oh yeah, they just changed it a little bit. But yeah, that's pretty sweet.
Yeah, having done bunch of world completion in the Shiver Peaks recently, I've heard this song quite a bit.
That's pretty cool. I did not know that. So, for our community video spotlight this week, we actually have a trailer for the upcoming Foostival for this year. Telros, I know you took a look at that. What's that video like?
It's Quaggany.
That sounds accurate. Yeah.
If it's not a word now, then it should be.
It is now.
It's the
Quaggany.
only way you can really describe the actual video. There's a lot of Quaggin in it. Unfortunately, there's a lot of the baby ones that kind of look weird, creepy, but
Yeah. A lot of people think the baby Quaggans are cute, but I am not in that camp. I think the adult Quaggans are cuter.
yeah,
Fredless in chat says Quagtastic.
sure.
That's also a word now.
Let's use that one. But yeah, the video itself is quite well put together. It just shows a bunch of Quaggans running around while they sort of put text over explaining exactly what the Crucible is and where it is, the dates and so forth. It's going to be taking place in a number of cities in Europe in March, and it's probably going to be quite a lot of fun if you can make
Are you
it.
going to go? Are you going to go?
No.
Oh, come
No
on.
way I appealed for.
But, loved it.
No, it's too far.
Alright, fine.
If they can do one outside my house, then I'll go.
Maybe.
Where is your
Maybe.
sense of loyalty to the show? Come on now.
Yeah, come on. Drac went and did a convention for DDO Players News.
Yeah,
It's your turn,
come on.
Soros.
Well,
Step
you
it up,
pay
buddy.
for everything, and then I'll go.
Somebody should host one in New Zealand. I'd go. Anyway, this week, Tapco posted yet another guide, not surprising. This one is about the Guild Wars 1 Necromancer, and I know, Drac, you play a Necromancer in Guild Wars 1, so you can definitely speak to this one a bit.
I do, and this is another great guide from Tapco once again. The biggest thing you'll notice by reading this article is how much difference there is between the Guild Wars Necro and the Guild Wars 2 Necro.
One thing that isn't different is that the pets still look gross.
Yes, I noticed that. But yeah, reading the article since I've been playing my Necromancer lately, it does sound very different. I don't know if it's quite as different as the Mesmers, but pretty different.
The biggest thing that most people will be surprised to learn, I think, and Tapco does cover this in the article, is if you're playing a minion master, to get your minions, you actually need dead bodies.
Ew.
It's not like you just, in how Guild Wars 2, you just do your skill and your minions appear. You actually need to kill things to get bodies to have your minions.
That's pretty hardcore.
And it depends how many points you put in a minion master, but I know at times in the original Guild Wars, I'm running around with at least 20 to 30 minions with me, so I have to kill a lot of things to make sure I have an unlimited supply of dead bodies to use.
That's freaky.
And then you can also do a curse type build if you would want to do that. In the original Guild Wars, I don't do curses. I do Minion Master because I kind of like the Minion Master better. I have a build that it's a Necro Monk combo build, and I can pretty much stay alive and keep my party alive just from my minions and that. So, but I know there are a lot of people that do curse-based Necros in Guild Wars. So. But just once again, go ahead and read this article from Tapco. He lays everything out, talks about the weaknesses of the Necro, talks about the heroes, and what to do if you face them in PvP.
Cool.
So good job again, Tapco.
Thanks, Tapco. So this week's weekly community outfit comes to us from Flossine. Flossine really needs to tell us how to pronounce his name, because I feel like we've asked him a billion times between this and Lotro players. I don't know. I'm Flossine. Sent us in a picture of his Norn Guardian Walwolfa the White, and this is a pretty cool looking outfit, all red and gold and shiny and heavy armor because Guardian, and I really like this. I like the leggings that he used, especially the Shaman's Scallywag legs is what they're called. They're pretty cool. They've got kind of a rough look to them. So yeah, this is a really nice kind of red and gold outfit. I really liked it. So if you want to send us your outfit, please send us an email at contact@guildwarsplayers.com with the subject line weekly outfit, and we will show off your outfit to the whole world and talk about it on our podcast. And it'll be great. And now for the lore book, where we take a look at a place, character, race, or artifact and examine lore surrounding it and why it's important to our gameplay. This week, I'm going to be talking about the 6 human gods. They're pretty pervasive throughout the game. They show up in a whole lot of different forms. There's statues of them throughout human zones, throughout war, and you can see their names referenced pretty much everywhere. So they pertain to our gameplay in a lot of different ways. So basically the 6 human gods are Dwayna, who is the goddess of healing, air, warmth, and life. Balthazar, who is the god of war, fire, and courage. Melandru, who is the goddess of nature, earth, and growth. Lissa, who is actually twin goddesses of beauty, water, and illusion, and Grenth, who is the god of darkness, death, and ice, and Cormyr, who is the goddess of order, spirit, and truth, who actually only became a god in Guild Wars 1, correct, Drek?
Yep, in Nightfall.
There you go.
So the second expansion.
And there used to be other gods as well, most prominently Abaddon, and also Doom and some others. But basically what happened was in 786 BE, which is before Exodus, which I'll get to in a minute, the gods came to Tyria, and they actually brought humans to Tyria. So humans are not native to Tyria. So that's something to keep in mind. And the humans lived in the city of Ara, which is the capital of Or, and 1 year before Exodus, so that's 785 years after they came to Tyria, Abaddon, one of the gods at the time, gave magic to all the races in Tyria. And this did not sit well with the other gods. And a year later, they all left. They left Tyria. So that's year 0. That is the Exodus. And so everything, the calendar is based on that. So everything right now in Guild Wars 2, we are in 1328 or something. AE, which is, of course, after Exodus. So that's the 6 human gods. You'll hear human characters all throughout the game referencing it, like, oh, the 6 go with you. You can get buffs based on them and all sorts of stuff. They're everywhere. So now you'll know when you see their names. Drac, you were going to add something?
Yeah, I was just going to say, and if you're a Minion Master Necro, you
Grenth's
talk
your god.
about Grenth a lot, because you'll say, Grenth, I call upon your power, a lot in the game. So maybe people didn't realize who Grenth was, but now they know.
Now you know. So, Drac, what did you do this weekend game?
Well, let's start with my Necro. I got her to 40, did the personal story, so then that's my little Felicia Day moment of the week. I got that little brief glimpse of Zoja, and then she was gone out of the story, and then I won't see her again until I do a dungeon.
Sigh.
But my main character is my ranger, and I'm still trying to do my 80 personal story. I still have a little bit left to get to the point to that Athelros wants us to get to, so we can all do the dragon bit at the end.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, there's no way to put this other than I rage quit last night.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, I said a bad thing in guild chat, and I just said I'm done, and I quit. Because the personal
Which
story...
is surprising, because we tried to help you the other day as well, and I thought you got pretty angry then. I thought, when you put in the show notes that you rage quit, I thought you were talking about that, but I didn't know you went back and tried
No,
rage
it was
quit again.
much worse than when we were doing that other one. It's... I'll kind of not be too spoilery here in case people haven't done the 80 story, but at least the route I'm going, I have to go to this lighthouse place, I'll just say that.
Mm-hmm.
And there's one point where there is a champion that spawns, but with him is an endless supply of spiders that he keeps calling.
Mm.
And how the blank you're supposed to kill these things and kill him and stay alive is beyond me. I tried it 3 times. Of course, I was playing by myself, so I didn't. It might be easier with more people, I'm sure. But I tried it 3 times. I tried different tactics every time. And finally, I was just like, I'm done. And literally, I just put in guild chat. I said, you can think of what I said. This quest, I'm done. And I logged out.
Yeah, I find with a lot of the ones where they have like an infinite amount of enemies coming at you, I think there was a couple during the Claw Island one, like that whole part of the story where I think I was having huge problems doing that too. I died constantly just trying to complete it.
My biggest thing is, why don't the NPCs res you? I don't understand.
Because they're usually dead themselves.
Dead. Actually, surprisingly, they weren't, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, I might be able to do this if you morons would, res me, but no, they're just running around in circles, basically doing nothing, dying themselves, so I'm like, yeah, I'm done.
I think they need to go back and kind of tweak these like they did with the Living World, because I know obviously when we were going through that, there was always at least someone who would res you if you went down.
Yeah, so I don't know if it's just my gear that I have, why this is so hard, or this is supposed to be this hard, but it is just insane.
Yeah,
Well,
I think
I
it's
mean,
a problem with the infinite enemies thing. I think they're not tuned right where if all your NPC allies are down, or at least like a good portion of them are down, you can't handle them on your
Right,
own.
yeah.
I think it also
Pretty much burst the main guy, which is almost impossible because they usually have an eternal amount of health, or you just
I picked a
get overwhelmed.
different path than you guys. So this
I
was
didn't do this
hadn't
one,
seen.
anyway.
Yeah, I did not do this path. I chose a different route, and I had different problems, but definitely not at the same level as you did. So I think it also depends which kind of choices you make. Like, obviously give you different challenges.
Yeah, because after the one we did, I think yesterday or the day before that, I had pretty much no problems really. So I guess I just got lucky with my choices.
Same. But yeah, apparently they are working on tweaking the personal story. Mostly for story purposes, they are going to be re-adding in a chapter that they had taken out when they did the kind of new player experience revamp back in September. They took out a whole big chunk of the personal story. They're going to be adding that back in, reordering things, which we've talked about before is good because some of the story in its current form does not make sense. And maybe they'll work on kind of tweaking some of the gameplay aspects of it as well.
And for the record, I just wanted to be known, I'm not against having a challenge in a game. I mean, that's fine. I don't want everything just to be, like a cakewalk and just a face roll.
Mm-hmm.
But good grief.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the whole endless enemy thing is something you can't really outplay.
And it's like, like I said, I thought, okay, I'm just going to ignore his ads and I'm just going to try to like burn him down. Well, his ads like overwhelm you and like interrupt you, and I'm like, I can't do anything. I'm just like, I'm endlessly just killing these other things, and he's like pounding on me, and I'm like, forget it.
Especially if you get unlucky with the aggro, where a lot of them will just happen to target you, you can end up getting CC locked where you just can't do anything and you die.
Yep, exactly. So, I don't know. But that was basically my week.
Sounds fun.
I'm hoping the story fix thing they're talking about includes making it so that Bat Lady you meet kind of happens before you do stuff, because
that was
confusing.
definitely something in the thread on the forums that they posted about it. That's one of the big complaints people were talking about it, and that's the thread where they posted like, yes, we know we're working on this, so they definitely know that doesn't make any sense. Or like the Asura they mention, they talk about some like having to talk to somebody's wife and they died or whatever, but it's like, but I don't know who that is. What? So they're fixing it.
Yeah.
They do know about it. So that's good. Maybe that'll come with the expansion. I'm not sure.
Because at the moment it's kind of like, hey, it's you, that person I'm going to meet in 3 chapters.
Yeah. Yep. So, Thalros, I know you have some airing of grievances as well.
Well, I've been doing a lot of map completion lately. I'm up to 91% now. I just finished Frostgorge Sound.
Nice.
Which was partly good, partly bad, partly meh. Meh is the snow, because I've done so much of that recently. Yeah.
Right.
The Kodan have these sort of ice ship things.
That's really cool.
Out in the water, and they actually look pretty cool. I like the kind of architecture they have. I don't know how to describe it, but it's pretty cool. And you kind of learn more about their culture and way of life while you're there, which are pretty neat.
I should probably go do that zone or something.
Unfortunately, they have dredge.
Oh.
And having done so much of the Shiver Peaks, I am sick to death of dredge. I wish they would just stay in the earth and not come out, because I'm sick of fighting them in their stupid CC lock and buffs and drill thingies and gongs and stuff. They're just not fun to fight.
Yeah.
And I've also happened to be doing World v World, at least a little bit, trying to get the world completion, obviously, because that's included in it for reasons.
Have you died to anybody yet?
No, I saw a couple of people in the distance and I ran for my life. I think I'm at the point where I'm just going to end up waiting to see if they end up changing it, because as it is, our server, which is Isle of Janthia, or at least mine and Citrus's, is currently like around 5%, 5 to 10 most of the time, whereas the dominant server is like 60, 70 plus. And it becomes pretty difficult to actually get anything in terms of points of interest, vistas, whatnot. I just don't like that it's included in world completion. I get that maybe they wanted to encourage people to go into World v World, but having it be required just kind of puts me off, especially when it involved you having to do the same map completion 3 times, and 2 of the times is in enemy territory, which is going to be almost impossible to get the full thing done.
Right.
Especially when you happen to be on a weaker server, because it comes to a point where if you're like just picked unlucky and you're on a server that doesn't do very well, then you're screwed, and that's it.
Yeah. It is not great, but there are speculations that with the expansion we are not going to have to do World v World for map completion based on some of the like map completion percentages from the points of interest live streams. People have kind of worked out the math, and it looks like we're not going to have to do World v World for map completion anymore. So that'll be good if that's true.
I sure hope so, because aside from that bit, I actually been enjoying doing this world completion stuff. Just seeing that percentage bar go up gradually and getting all the rewards. It's quite a lot of good money in it too, especially if you gather resources while you go. And there's some
I've heard
interesting
the
story
100%
bits. And...
stuff is pretty good as well for rewards.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm more interested in that little star you get next to your name when you have it done, but yeah, I'm sure that is good too.
That was just wants the little gold star.
It all goes back to junior school again.
Yep. So this week, I did a lot of PvP actually, which is surprising. I'm really surprised at how much I've been enjoying it, and I decided to try it on my Necromancer this week because I've still really been liking playing my Necromancer. I got him from level 20 to level 35 now, and surprisingly having a lot of fun with him. I've been playing a lot of PvP with him, and oh my gosh, Necromancer PvP is super awesome. I can survive really, really well as a Necromancer because I have so many like health draining and health leeching skills, and turning into Death Shroud also kind of gives me a little bit of extra survivability because that once I'm in that mode, I don't to get my actual health taken away, and it's just awesome. I love it. I've actually been doing really well with it, which is surprising. I die a lot less. I did a map the other day. I got the top rank. I'm still only doing practice matches, but I'm thinking I might kind of graduate up to unranked matches soon because I think I've got the hang of it now. So yeah, I've been doing a lot of that. I've also been doing some world boss train runs on my Elementalist to gain money because I only have one piece left from the light armor Sylvari cultural armor before I've gotten all of the light armor Sylvari cultural armor. So that's pretty cool. And then today I also finished my trash collector collection achievement thing, and that's pretty cool. And yeah, I think that's about it. Oh yeah, we helped Drac with his personal story that didn't go
kicking a
so
dragon
well.
in the mouth.
Yeah, that went much better with you guys, but I'm just
we'll have to help you with the next bit.
Over my personal story at this point.
Sounds like it. Oh yeah, speaking of personal story, yeah, I was working on my personal story on my Necromancer, and it feels so wrong hearing that default male Sylvari voice through my Necromancer, because if you've seen pictures of my Necromancer, he's supposed to look all freaky and scary looking, and he's got the like big weird face with the big like cuts in it, and it looks all weird, and just feels so weird hearing that super nice, oh yes, the pale tree says this, and whatever voice coming out of him, when really, if I could choose, he'd probably just growl or not say anything at all. But such is life in an MMO.
Give him the char gulp.
No, not the char, like, lip flap gurgle noises. Those are disgusting.
As I call the char hairball noise.
Yeah, that is... Ugh.
Yeah, I had to delete my char. I couldn't take that. I was like, nope, not doing this. Not hearing this all the time.
Yeah. Poor kitties. So for this week's Guild Wars 2 Academy, which is where we answer questions sent in by players looking to learn more about the game, we got this question on Twitter, and it says, are there food or scrolls or consumable items in Guild Wars 2 like there are in other games that give a boost to resistances or in-combat healing or anything like that, and how effective are they? And the answer is yes. There are quite a few different kinds of consumable items. Chefs, the crafting profession chef, makes a lot of food, obviously. I have my main class, my Mesmer, is a chef, and she makes lots of fun things like cheeseburgers and pizza and ice cream and stuff, and it's fun. I like the food items in this game. But yeah, there's huge variety of consumable items with different buffs. Other crafting professions can also make consumable items that give various buffs. A lot of the times the festivals give you a ton of different items. Basically just read everything you get. Basically a lot of these consumable items will give a boost to magic find, which basically is, how often you find rare or, better kind of rarity items. A lot of them will give a boost to how much XP you get. A lot of them will give a boost to like your critical rating. Some of them give just, base stats like plus 10 might for however long the consumable item lasts. There's such a wide variety of them. Some of them even are really specific, and it's like, plus 10% to killing crate or whatever. And so, yeah, there's a ton of different ways to get them. Festivals and crafting are some of the biggest ways to get them, though. You guys have anything to add to that answer?
No, I'm gonna leave that to you. I don't craft,
right.
So there you go.
Fair enough. So if you have any questions about Guild Wars or Guild Wars 2, you can send us in an email at podcast@guildwarsplayers.com or tweet at us at gwplayers or whatever various other means. Contact us in game. We'll get to that in a minute. And just ask away. We love to answer your questions. This week we do not have any Patreon mentions, but we sure would love your support. If you help support us at Guild Wars Players, it helps us run the site, helps us do giveaways, helps us do lots of cool stuff for you guys. You can simply go to the donation page on our website, and you can support the Players Alliance on Patreon. Players Alliance is the podcasting and site network that we're a part of. You can find rewards when you donate, such as getting a mention on the podcast, or you can even come on to the Skype call and be on the podcast with us for a show. We don't have any iTunes reviews this week either, but we do have a featured comment from Zero Kitsune, who commented on the Lunar New Year post, and he wrote, just a note to tie into Char's gold recommendations, we have a new back piece called the Lucky Ram Lantern, and its upgraded version. These are things you can earn from doing the Lunar New Year events. Sellable back pieces like this are fairly nice, and I'll use the example of the Desert Rose skin, which is a back piece that you can get, or what you could get in-game. Now you can only get it through the trading post, I believe. Maybe that's not true. I'm not sure. But he says, during the Cutthroat Politics release, it sold on the trading post for only a gold or two, and now it's 87 gold to get those on the trading post. No precursor, sure, but it is a nice profit. So if you want to get one of those kind of items to hoard away to, get some gold value in your bank without hoarding gold like Char recommended last week, try and get that Lucky Ram Lantern back skin or the deluxe version. So if you want to contact us, like I said, email us at podcast@guildwarsplayers.com. You can follow all of us on Twitter. The Players Alliance Network is at Players Ally, and Guild Wars Players site is at GWPlayers. I'm at Sithrith, and in-game I'm at Sithrith.6741. Draculetta on Twitter is at Draculetta_72, and in-game he's at Draculetta.7401. And Athelros is at Athelros on Twitter, and in-game at Athelros.3164. We have a whole host of live shows through the Players Alliance Network. On Mondays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern is DDO Players News. Thursdays at 6:30 p.m. Eastern is this show, Guild Wars Players News. And Saturdays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern is Locho Players News. You can find all these live shows at guildwarsplayers.com/live. It'll give you a link to the chat room when they're live. Thank you all so much for listening, and this is Sithrith reminding you to look before you leap.